The ache hits without warning. Sharp pressure builds in the groin, spreading into a dull throb that won't quit. He's deep into retention, riding the benefits, then arousal strikes. His body floods with tension. No release comes. The discomfort intensifies, heavy, persistent, impossible to ignore. Most men panic here, convinced something's wrong or that breaking retention is the only escape. It's not. 3 medical tactics exist that stop the pain fast, protect the streak, and work with biology instead of fighting it. The pain hits sharp and real. A dull ache spreads through the groin, building pressure that refuses to quit. Men practicing semen retention know this moment well, the body trapped between arousal and discipline. Doctors call it epididymal hypertension, but the discomfort needs no technical name. It demands relief. Here's what's happening. Blood rushes to the genital area during arousal. Normally, ejaculation releases that pressure. Without it, blood pools in the vessels and tissues. The testicles swell slightly. Pressure builds. The ache sets in. This isn't dangerous, but it's intensely uncomfortable. The good news: relief doesn't require breaking retention. Cold therapy works fast. Wrap ice in a thin towel or grab a cold gel pack. Apply it to the area for 10 to 15 minutes. The cold constricts blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the region. Pressure drops. Swelling eases. The mechanism is simple. Cold reverses the process arousal started. Men report noticeable relief within minutes. Never apply ice directly to skin. Always use a barrier to prevent tissue damage. He sits on the edge of his bed at 11 p.m., jaw tight from the throbbing ache below. He grabs a bag of frozen peas from the freezer, wraps it in a kitchen towel, and holds it against his groin. The cold bites at first, then numbs. 5 minutes pass. The pressure starts to ease. 10 minutes. The sharp ache dulls to a manageable throb. He exhales slowly. By 15 minutes, he can think clearly again. The peas go back in the freezer. He returns to his routine. Physical redirection pulls blood away from the area. Light exercise, a brisk walk, jumping jacks, or a quick run forces your circulation to prioritize working muscles over genital tissue. Blood redistributes. The body shifts from arousal mode to activity mode. 20 minutes of movement often clears most discomfort. The hormonal system recalibrates when physical demand changes. Scrotal support reduces pooling in the veins. Wearing supportive underwear or gently elevating the area decreases blood settling in lower vessels. Doctors specifically recommend this approach for testicular pain. The physics are straightforward. Elevation helps blood flow back toward the heart rather than pooling below. Combined with cold therapy, this creates a 1-2 pressure release. Controlled breathing lowers arousal at the source. Deep, slow breaths activate the body's calming response. The heart rate drops. Blood vessels relax throughout the body, including the genital region. Sit or lie down. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat for 5 minutes. This isn't just distraction. It's a direct intervention in the arousal mechanism. A man lies flat on his floor at midnight, knees bent, one hand on his chest. The ache pounds steadily. He starts breathing slow, deliberate, counting each cycle. 4 in. Hold. 6 out. His heart rate slows from racing to steady. The tension in his pelvis begins to unlock. 3 minutes in, the urgency fades. 5 minutes and the sharp edge is gone. He stands, tests his movement. The pain lingers faintly but no longer controls him. He heads to bed. These methods work for typical cases. If pain persists beyond 24 hours, intensifies sharply, or comes with swelling that doesn't reduce, see a doctor. Testicular pain can signal other conditions requiring medical attention. Don't assume every ache is just retention-related discomfort. Core tactics deliver immediate relief. Advanced understanding elevates those wins, turning reactive fixes into strategic prevention that keeps discomfort from starting. Cold therapy, movement, breathing. These tactics work because they reverse a specific biological process. Understanding that process transforms random relief tricks into a strategic system. Here's what happens inside the body during arousal. Blood rushes to the genital region, filling the vessels in the penis and testicles. The body prepares for sexual activity. Heart rate climbs. Blood pressure rises. Normally, orgasm triggers a release. Muscles contract, pressure drops, and blood flows back into general circulation. Without that release, blood stays trapped. The vessels remain engorged. The testicles swell slightly as fluid accumulates. Nerves register the pressure as discomfort. Time and again, we see this mechanism. Prolonged arousal without ejaculation causes blood pooling in tissues that creates the characteristic ache. Why does it hurt? Pressure activates pain receptors in the scrotum and surrounding tissues. The longer blood pools, the more pressure builds. The epididymis, a coiled tube behind each testicle that stores sperm, becomes particularly sensitive. Think of it like holding your breath, manageable at first, increasingly uncomfortable with time. The body sends clear signals that something needs resolution. But here's the critical point. This isn't damage. No tissue harm occurs. Experience tracking men through this found zero long-term effects. The discomfort is real, but temporary and harmless. The relief tactics from earlier work by attacking congestion directly. Cold therapy constricts blood vessels, forcing pooled blood back toward the heart. Physical exercise redirects circulation to muscles that need oxygen, pulling resources away from the genital area. The body can't maintain arousal while sprinting. Survival priorities override sexual function. Deep breathing activates the calming branch of the nervous system, lowering heart rate and relaxing blood vessels throughout the body. Each method reverses part of the arousal cascade. Advanced strategies build on this foundation. Progressive muscle relaxation targets residual tension that keeps blood flow elevated. A man systematically tenses and releases muscle groups, calves, thighs, glutes, abdomen, chest, arms. Each cycle drains a bit more arousal from the system. The technique takes 10 minutes and works anywhere. What we see in pain management confirms this approach, reduces subjective discomfort by modulating how the nervous system processes signals. Lifestyle adjustments prevent the problem before it starts. Men practicing retention can reduce exposure to arousing content, cutting off the trigger at its source. When arousal does build, catching it early matters. The first signs, quickened pulse, focused attention on sexual thoughts, mark the window for intervention. Acting then prevents the cascade from reaching painful levels. It's easier to redirect a river at its source than downstream. Natural compounds like ginger or turmeric reduce systemic inflammation, which may lower tissue sensitivity during congestion. The evidence here is preliminary, but the mechanism makes biological sense. Inflammation amplifies pain signals. Reducing it could blunt discomfort. Men report subjective benefit. Though this doesn't replace proven methods like cold therapy, timing plays a role often overlooked. Discomfort typically peaks 30 to 60 minutes after arousal begins. Applying relief tactics during this window yields the fastest results. Waiting longer doesn't make the pain worse, but it extends duration. Acting quickly shortens the experience. One myth persists: the idea that this requires ejaculation for relief. Here's the thing: while orgasm provides immediate release, other methods resolve the condition just as effectively. The body will naturally reabsorb pooled blood over time, even without intervention, usually within a few hours. Relief tactics simply accelerate the process. Another misconception: that the condition signals harm. Men sometimes worry that repeated episodes damage fertility or function. Medical examination of men experiencing chronic arousal without release found no structural changes, no reduction in sperm quality, no impairment of sexual health. The discomfort is a signal, not an injury. Combining tactics creates the strongest approach. Cold therapy immediately after arousal, followed by movement to redistribute blood, then breathing exercises to stabilize the nervous system. This layered strategy addresses congestion, circulation, and arousal regulation simultaneously. Most men find relief within 20 minutes using this sequence. The science validates what the tactics deliver: control over a process that feels automatic. This discomfort isn't random suffering, it's predictable biology with predictable solutions. Understanding the mechanism transforms discomfort into a manageable part of retention practice, rather than a barrier to it. Cold therapy stops the ache fast, protecting your retention streak. Understanding why it works prevents the pain from starting in the first place. This week, try this. Keep a cold pack in your freezer and supportive underwear ready. When arousal builds unexpectedly, catch it early, apply cold for 10 minutes, then take a brisk 15-minute walk. Track what triggers the arousal so you can dodge it next time. Drop your best prevention tactic in the comments. Hit like if these solutions clicked. Subscribe for weekly retention strategies that actually work with your biology. Your retention journey strengthens when you master the mechanics, not just the willpower.